Let's start here. The end of an era doesn't always look a banner waving goodbye. Sometimes it's a quiet statement dropped like a pebble into a sea of noise, and the ripples are emotional tremors. Trent Alexander-Arnold, leaving Liverpool. At the end of the season, it doesn't feel real. Not because it's shocking, rumors have swirled for months, but because it feels like a betrayal by time itself. This was supposed to be a story for the ages. A local lad who rose through the ranks, bled red, lifted the Champions League, the Premier League, every major trophy that once seemed a fantasy. A Scouser not just living the dream, but defining it. And now, he's walking away. He says it's for a new challenge. Real Madrid is waiting. A white shirt, a different anthem, a different heartbeat. But how do you leave home when you've been the architect of its recent glory? How do you pull off the crest that was stitched into your soul before you rolled on the... He's 26. That stings more than it should. Because it's not old, it's not tired. It's not the twilight of a career. It's the crescendo, and yet he's choosing to make that crescendo elsewhere. There's a moment that plays in my head. Trent, arms outstretched at Anfield, chest heaving, fans roaring. It's burned into the memory of modern football. He wasn't just a right back. He was the definition of the wind of a right foot, the vision of a number 10, and the swagger of a street footballer who knew he belonged on the biggest stage. The assist against Barcelona. You know the one, the corner taken quickly. That moment wasn't coached. It wasn't drilled on training pitches. That was instinct. Intelligence. That was... Now, he's going to play against Barcelona. You can almost hear the collective gasp of Liverpool fans. Not anger. Not hatred. Just heartbreak. Like being left behind not because you weren't loved, but because someone wanted to chase something different. It hurts more that way. There's no denying his talent, but it's the timing that's cruel. The club is in flux, Klopp is leaving, the band is breaking up, and in that chaos, Trent's exit feels like another fault line cracking open. Who do you build around now? Who carries the soul of the club? Because for many, Trent was that soul. Yes, there were flaws, the defending, the lapses, the moments where the heat of the Premier League exposed his Achilles heel. But that was never the point. The point was that you took the good with the bad because the good was artistry. Game-breaking, defense-splitting, highlight reel-making artistry. So now the question shifts from grief to legacy. What does it mean to be a club legend? Is it about staying? About being one club, shoulder to shoulder with Gerrard, with Carragher? Or is it about impact, irrespective of duration? Because here's the truth. Trent changed football, changed how we talk about fullbacks, changed what managers ask from them. You could argue that entire tactical systems bent to accommodate what he offered. He wasn't part of the game. He reshaped it. But legacies aren't only built on brilliance. They're built on belonging. And Trent belonged to Liverpool in a way that very few ever have. He was a symbol. A bridge between past and present, between hope and fulfillment. And symbols are not supposed to leave. Some fans are furious. Others are just numb. And then there are the ones trying to understand, trying to tell themselves that Real Madrid is Real Madrid, that this is a career move, not a betrayal. That if you were offered that shirt, that stage, that history, you'd take it too. And maybe you would. But logic is no match for love. Football is not rational. And supporting a club, living through its highs and lows, it's about the emotional tether. And right now, that tether feels frayed. Still, it doesn't feel wrong to hope he succeeds. Imagine Trent walking into the Bernabeu draped in white, hearing his name chanted in Spanish instead of Scouse. It's surreal. But it's also a reminder of how global this game is. How talent transcends borders. How heroes can wear more than one crest and still be legends. And Liverpool? What happens now? You don't replace a Trent Alexander-Arnold, you adjust, you adapt, you try to rediscover rhythm without the player who is your metronome. It's like taking the drummer out of the band and asking the bassist to keep time. Something always feels off. They'll scout, they'll sign, but it won't be the same. Not immediately, maybe not ever. What makes this goodbye so hard is that it's not clean. It's not after a dip in form. It's not a forced exit. It's not retirement. It's not even the end of a contract. It's voluntary, intentional. And that's what guts you. He's choosing to leave. Not being pushed, not being benched, not fading away. Choosing. And maybe that's the power of it too. Because in a world where footballers are often pawns moved by agents, boards, headlines, Trent is making his own move. on his own terms, with the audacity that defined his game, and you kind of have to respect that. Still, it's hard not to imagine a different ending. A testimonial at 35, a tearful farewell at Anfield soaked in red smoke and anthem echoes. A career bookended in Merseyside magic. Instead, we get this, a quiet statement. A roaring silence, and maybe, just maybe, a reminder that football is beautiful because it breaks your heart. So here's to Trent, the Scouser who changed the game. The boy who made corners magical. The man who left not because he stopped loving the club, but because he started chasing something new. And maybe that's okay. Because sometimes, the greatest love stories don't end in happily ever after. Sometimes, they just end. Now let's talk about another goodbye. One of a different kind. Not to a club, but to a narrative. To a ghost that haunted for over a decade. Harry Kane has finally won a league title. Read that again. Let it settle. Harry Kane has finally won a league title. You almost want to whisper it, like it's a secret that might disappear if you say it too loud. Because for years, Kane was the footballing embodiment of so close. The nearly man, the silverless striker, the record breaker with nothing to show for it except medals that glinted in the sunlight of defeat. He carried Tottenham on his back like Atlas with the weight of the world, and got nothing in return but admiration and a warm handshake. And now, at 31, in Munich, he's a champion. It's poetic. It's overdue. And it is absolutely dripping with irony. Because Bayern Munich, this industrial title machine, this trophy printing press, actually made Kane wait, made him sweat, made him earn it. He arrived to a side that was used to walking the Bundesliga with arrogance, a side that saw the league as more formality than fight. But this season, it wasn't just a stroll. It was a slog, a race, a clash of egos and tactics and unexpected resistance. And through it all, there was Kane, relentless, ruthless, regal. Not just scoring goals, but scoring important goals. Winners, equalizers, ice-in-the-veins penalties, headers, curlers, tap-ins, thunderbolts. He did it all, and did it with that signature grimace grin, like a man always slightly too modest for his own greatness. And here's the part that stings for the Premier League romantics. He looks happy, free, because you can't help but think about what he left behind. Tottenham, a club that gave him everything except the one thing he craved, a place he called home, a stadium built in his image. Fans that sang his name like a hymn, and yet the trophies never came. The finals always ended in shadows. The promises always rang hollow. He stayed longer than anyone expected, loyal to a fault, patient to the point of pain. He didn't jump ship when others would have bolted. He didn't chase glamour. He chased purpose. But when Bayern came calling, with that Bavarian certainty, with that trophy cabinet built like a museum, he had to say yes. Not because he stopped believing in Tottenham, but because he finally started believing in himself. Because talent like his deserves moments like this. This isn't just a footballer lifting silverware. It's a man lifting a curse. For years, pundits said it would define him. That you can't be world-class without a trophy. That numbers don't matter unless they come with ribbons. That legends are crowned in May, not remembered in spreadsheets. Well, now he has his crown, and it's not plastic. Of course, it's not just about Kane. Football never is. It's about Bayern, too. A side that stumbled early, wobbled mid-season, and then remembered who they were. They trusted Kane to be the glue, the hammer, the heart. And he was. He didn't just score. He led. And let's be honest, he could have coasted, could have come in, bagged 20, and picked up a title like a tourist picking up a souvenir. But that's not who Kane is. He fought for this. He bled for this. He refused to be a passenger in a Rolls Royce. He drove the damn thing. And now? Now we have to rewrite the book. No longer the nearly man. No longer the stat-padding striker. No longer the yeah, but he's a champion. But, and here's the twist, does it change how we feel about him? Because, in a weird way, part of Kane's appeal was the heartbreak, the loyalty, the tragedy. He was a Shakespearean hero in football boots. We loved him not just because he scored, but because he stayed, because he didn't take the easy route. Now that he's won, is the story over? Or is it just beginning? Because Real Madrid might call. Manchester United might dream, Barcelona might whisper, and England, oh, England. There's still unfinished business in that shirt, isn't there? But tonight, that's noise. Tonight we celebrate the end of one story, the closing of a chapter that had dragged on for too long. Harry Kane, league winner. It feels good to say it. It feels right. Because football needs moments like this, needs stories where the good guy wins, where patience pays off, where perseverance is rewarded. It reminds us why we care. So as Kane lifts that trophy, eyes glistening, shirt soaked, smile stretching wider than ever, it's not just a personal triumph, it's a universal one. For every player who waited, for every fan who hoped, for every person who wondered if nice guys really do finish first. Tonight, they do. This has been Across the Pitch. Over and out.